I was flipping through an old cookbook, searching for a recipe, when a piece of paper fell out from between the pages. The handwriting was old, the ink slightly smudged. I miss your scent. I dream of you every day. From tonight on, I'll never forget how you kissed me at the window. I read it 3 times. Only then did I notice the paper carried her perfume, the same scent she'd worn since our first year of marriage. But this note wasn't for me. My name is James Msir, and up until 5 minutes ago, I thought I had a happy marriage. The cookbook trembled in my hands. My mother had given it to Claire as a wedding gift years ago. Every family needs their own recipes, she'd said, handing it to Claire at our rehearsal dinner. Claire had cried, moved by the gesture. Her own mother had never cared much for family traditions. I flipped through the pages again, hoping for some kind of explanation. Maybe the note was from before our time. But the paper was fresh and dated just 2 weeks ago. That erased any doubt. My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. A message from Claire. Hey, stuck in traffic. Meeting ran late. Don't wait for me with dinner. Love you, Red Heart. Those words used to warm me. Now, they felt like ice water down my back. No problem, I replied, trying to sound calm. See you when you get home. I went to the liquor cabinet and poured myself a whiskey. Neat, no ice. I needed the burn. Who the hell was Dee? Claire had been a corporate lawyer for 15 years. Brilliant, driven, ambitious. We met at a charity event, me collecting donations for their annual report. I had just launched my photography business. She stood out, not just because she was beautiful, but because she had a quiet confidence that drew people in. I opened the calendar on my phone. Over the past few months, Claire's late meetings had increased. More evening calls, weekend work sessions. I'd been so buried in my own projects, I hadn't noticed the pattern. Whiskey in hand, I walked into our bedroom and opened her dresser drawer. Nothing unusual. Then her wardrobe. The scent of Chanel No. 5 hung in the air. I pushed her blazers and dresses aside, not sure what I was looking for, until I found it. A red dress I'd never seen before. Low cut. The tag still attached. My phone buzzed again. A text from my friend Marcus. Basketball tomorrow. Thursday nights. The one night Claire always worked late. Can't make it, I replied. I poured myself another whiskey and waited. At 10:32 p.m., the front door finally opened. I sat in the dark living room, the note lying on the coffee table in front of me. Claire dropped her keys into the bowl by the door. The sound echoed through the silent house. James, why are you sitting in the dark? She asked, flipping on the light. She looked flawless, as always. Her dark hair fell in soft waves around her shoulders. Her makeup was perfect, not a single smudge after what was supposed to be a 12-hour workday. Tough day, I said, watching her closely. How was your meeting? Exhausting. The Wilson merger is killing me. She slipped off her heels and walked toward me. You should have eaten without me. I wasn't hungry. I nodded toward the coffee table. Found something interesting today. Her eyes landed on the note. For a split second, her expression cracked. Then she put on her lawyer face again. Calm, unreadable. What is this? Tell me. She picked up the note, her voice too quiet. Where did you find that? In your cookbook. The one your mother-in-law gave you. She set the note down and sat across from me. James. I can explain. Who is he? Claire closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, they were clear. Steady. David. David Harrington. He's a partner at the firm. And you're sleeping with him. It wasn't a question, but she still said it. Yes. Her simple confession stunned me. I had expected denial, tears, excuses. But not this. How long? 6 months. Half a year. Half a year of lies. While I played the fool. Do you love him? It hurt to ask, but I needed the answer. Claire looked down at her hands. I don't know. Maybe. Do you love me? She looked up. Her eyes glistened. Yes. I've always loved you, James. That hasn't changed. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Even I was surprised by the sound. That's bullshit, Claire. You don't cheat on someone you love. It's complicated. No, I cut her off. It's actually pretty simple. You broke us. What I don't understand is why. What I did wasn't wrong, Claire said quickly. You did nothing wrong? I asked. Then why? Claire stood and walked to the window, staring out into the dark. Do you remember when I made partner 2 years ago? I nodded. unsure where she was going with this. You took me out to that little Italian place in North Beach. We had champagne. You were so proud of me. She turned to face me. But that same night, when we got home, you went straight to your office to edit photos. You had a deadline. I still don't see what that has to do with this, I said. You've always supported my career, James. Always. But somewhere along the line, we stopped being a team. We became two people living parallel lives. She paused. When was the last time we really talked? Not about schedules or bills or Netflix, but really talked. Her words hit hard. Because she was right. We had grown distant. But that didn't excuse what she'd done. So this is my fault. I stood, anger rising. You're screwing your colleague because I work too much? No, Claire said softly. You're not to blame for my choices. I'm just trying to explain how it happened. How it happened, I said, is you chose to betray me instead of talking to me. Claire flinched. I tried, James. You didn't listen. When? I snapped. A year ago, I asked if you wanted to try couples therapy. You said everything was fine. Just busy. I remembered that night. We were getting ready for bed. It had sounded like a casual suggestion, not a desperate cry for help. So you brought it up once. And when I missed the signal, you decided to sleep with someone else. Claire's composure cracked. It wasn't just once. I've been trying for years to reconnect. The weekend trips I suggested. You were always too busy. The date nights, you postponed them. Conversations, you barely listened, always checking your phone. I became background noise in your life, James. So David makes you feel special? Is that it? She didn't answer. And that silence told me everything. I walked to the liquor cabinet and poured another whiskey. Does anyone else know? Claire hesitated. My sister knows I'm unhappy. But she doesn't know about David. What about your company? We were careful. I laughed bitterly. Careful? You left a note in our damn cookbook. I didn't, Claire said quickly. David must have slipped it into my bag. It must have fallen out last weekend. I was looking for that pasta recipe. The domestic image of Claire cooking from my mother's cookbook while having an affair made me sick. I want you to leave, I said suddenly. Tonight. Go to David's. Or a hotel. I don't care. I just can't look at you right now. Her eyes widened. James, please. Let's talk about this. We are talking. And then you go. She stood frozen. Then nodded. I'll pack a bag. As she walked past me toward the bedroom, I grabbed her arm. Did you sleep with him in our bed? Claire shook her head. No. Never. I let go of her arm. Good. Because I'm burning the damn sheets either way. After she left, I poured my fourth whiskey and called my brother, Michael. Hey, what's going on? He said, his voice groggy. Claire's having an affair, I said immediately. Silence. Then a rustling sound, like he was sitting up. Shit. Are you sure? She admitted it. A partner at her firm. Jesus, James. I'm so sorry. Want me to come over? I looked at the time. 11:45 p.m. No. I just needed to tell someone. What are you going to do? I have no damn idea. After I hung up, I wandered through the house, seeing everything with new eyes. Our wedding photo on the mantel. The painting we bought on our trip to Provence. The decorative pillows Claire had chosen last spring because they tied the room together. Everything looked the same, but it all felt ruined. I ended up in my office, surrounded by my work, landscapes, portraits, architecture. Photography had always been my refuge. But now, when I saw the framed photo of Claire on the beach in Maui, I just threw my head back and laughed. A laugh full of pain. I took the picture down and placed it face down in my desk drawer. Then I opened my laptop. Like anyone would today, I Googled him. David Harrington. Attorney. San Francisco. His firm's website popped up immediately. He looked polished. Silver hair at the temples. Harvard Law. Divorced. 2 teenage kids. Specializes in mergers and acquisitions. I clicked through to his social media. His profiles were mostly professional and locked down, but I found one photo from a company Christmas party 6 months ago. In the background, partly hidden but unmistakable, was Claire. And the way she was looking at him. It was the same way she used to look at me. I closed the laptop and leaned back in my chair. The truth sank in. My wife was in love with another man. Our marriage might be over. And I had no idea what to do next. The next day, I called in sick. There was no way I could focus on a photo shoot while my life was falling apart. Claire texted once. I'm at the Grand Hotel if you're ready to talk. I'm here. I didn't answer. Instead, I drove out to the coast and walked along the beach for hours. The cold wind on my face helped numb everything inside. My phone buzzed again and again. Messages from Michael, from my assistant, from friends trying to confirm appointments. I ignored them all. By late afternoon, I found myself in a small bar near the pier. I sat by the window, sipping a beer and watching fishing boats come in with their daily catch. The bartender was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes. She brought me drinks without asking. Eventually, she spoke. Woman trouble? I looked up, surprised. How do you know? She smiled sadly. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know the look. My wife is cheating on me, I said. She nodded. Found out yesterday? I nodded. Yeah, that obvious, huh? You've got that fresh wound look, she said, wiping the bar. Then she added, don't make any big decisions today. Give yourself until tomorrow. Clear your head first. I nodded, grateful for her blunt honesty. When I finally got home, the house was quiet, but someone had been there. On the kitchen counter sat a small vase of fresh flowers and a note in Michael's handwriting. Call me when you're ready. Love you, brother. I was about to go upstairs when the doorbell rang. For a second, I thought it might be Claire. But when I opened the door, it was a man I'd never met. And yet, I knew instantly who he was. David Harrington. Mr. Sir, he said, his voice smooth and polished. May I come in? The sheer audacity of it stunned me. I should have slammed the door in his face. I should have punched him. Instead, curiosity won. I stepped aside. He entered my home like someone used to owning every room he walked into. Expensive suit. Subtle cologne. A luxury watch that probably cost more than my car. In another life, he might have been a client. I'll make this brief, he said, standing in my living room. Claire doesn't know I'm here. What do you want? My voice came out quieter than I expected. I came to apologize. What happened between Claire and me, it wasn't planned. We were working late on the Wilson case. One night turned into many, and one thing led to another. Spare me the details. I cut in. He nodded. Fair enough. What matters is, Claire loves you. She's devastated by all of this. Devastated she got caught. I asked. David shook his head. No. Genuinely torn up. She tried to end it twice. That was new. Then why didn't she? David hesitated, visibly uncomfortable. Because I convinced her not to. And I regret that. I'm not proud of it. So why are you here telling me this? Because you deserve the truth. And because Claire needs to decide what she wants. Without me making it harder. I let out a dry, bitter laugh. How noble of you. David met my eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Mr. Sir. What I did was wrong. But Claire is exceptional. If there's even a chance for you two to fix this, I think it's worth trying. Before I could respond, he handed me a business card. If you have questions, or just want to yell at me, my number's on the back. Then he left, and I was alone in my living room, holding the business card of the man my wife had slept with. 3 days passed. I buried myself in work, taking on every assignment I could. I slept on the sofa. Our bed felt too empty. Michael stopped by with takeout and beers. He didn't ask questions. He just kept me company. On the 4th day, I finally texted Claire. We need to talk. Tomorrow night. Dinner. Neutral ground. Her reply came instantly. Yes. Thank you. Just tell me where. We met at a small French bistro in Hayes Valley. It was busy enough for privacy, but quiet enough to talk. Claire was already there when I arrived. She looked tired. The confident lawyer was gone. In her place was someone more vulnerable. Thank you for meeting me, she said. As I sat down, I got straight to the point. David came to see me, I said. Claire's eyes widened. What? When? 3 days ago. He told me you tried to end it twice. She looked down at her water glass. Did I? Her voice was quiet. I couldn't live with the guilt. But you talked me out of it. No excuses. No justifications. Just the truth. The waiter came to take our orders. We both asked for wine, a lot of it. When he left, I asked the question that had been haunting me. Why him? Claire took a deep breath. He made me feel seen. When we worked together, he asked about more than just the case. He wanted to know what I thought, how I felt. He remembered little things I'd said weeks earlier. Noticed when I changed my hair. knew when I seemed stressed. Every word cut deep. They were simple things. Basic things. Things I should have been doing. I stopped seeing you, I admitted quietly. I got so wrapped up in my work, in my own world. I stopped paying attention. We both did, Claire replied. I was just as buried in my career. The difference is, I found someone who pulled me out of it. Do you love him? I asked. Claire hesitated. I'm attracted to what he represents. Attention, excitement, something new. But love? No. What I feel for you, felt for you, it's deeper. Past tense, I noted. I don't know what time we're living in anymore, James. We have to figure that out. The wine arrived. We both took a long sip. I don't know if I can forgive this, I finally said. I know, Claire said softly. She reached across the table, stopping just short of touching my hand. I wouldn't blame you if you couldn't, but I'm not sure I can just walk away either. Her eyes met mine, and for a brief second, there was hope. What does that mean? I asked. It means I'm confused. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I still love you. 12 years don't disappear overnight. Claire nodded. What do you want to do? I don't know. Counseling, maybe. You already suggested that once, she said, with a faint smile. Apparently, you didn't listen well enough. The rest of the dinner was awkward, full of false starts and hesitant conversation. We reminisced about the good times, acknowledged our mistakes, talked about possible futures, plural, because we didn't know if we still had a future together. Outside the restaurant, Claire gave me a brief hug. I'm still at the hotel. Take all the time you need. I nodded. I'll call you. As I watched her walk away, I felt everything at once. Anger, sadness, grief, but also a strange sense of possibility. Maybe this was the end. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the painful beginning of something new. The next week passed in a blur of work and therapy. My individual therapist, Dr. Brannon, helped me sort through the mess without judgment. In our second session, she asked, "What would it take for you to trust Claire again?" "I don't know if I can," I said. "I didn't ask if you can," she replied gently. "I asked what it would take." I thought about it. Total transparency. No more late nights without explanation. Access to her phone, her emails. Would that help you? Dr. Brannon asked. Or would it make you feel like a prison warden in your own marriage? The question hit me hard. I don't want to live like that, I admitted. Then what do you want? I want to go back to before this happened. She gave me a sad smile. That's not possible. But progress is. The question is, do you want to move forward with Claire or without her? That evening, I went through old photos. Not the professional ones, but the snapshots on my phone. Claire and I in Yosemite. At my brother's wedding. Making silly faces at a baseball game. We looked happy, but were we really? Or were we just two people living parallel lives who crossed paths now and then? I texted Claire. Can we try counseling? Together? Her reply came instantly. Yes, whenever you're ready. Dr. Matthews' office became neutral ground. Beige walls, comfortable chairs, soft lighting. Claire arrived first again, sitting stiffly on the edge of the sofa. I took the chair across from her, leaving some space between us. That first session was brutal. Claire described the affair in clinical, distant terms, which somehow made it worse. I talked about my neglect, my emotional absence, and how I hadn't seen the patterns until it was too late. What do you both expect from these sessions? Dr. Matthews asked near the end. Clarity. I need to know, I said right away, whether we can truly overcome this, or if we're just delaying the inevitable. Claire's answer didn't surprise me. I'm not just seeking forgiveness from you, James, she said. I need to forgive myself. I hate what I did to us. After the session, as we stood in the parking lot, Claire asked softly, would you like to get a coffee? Just to talk. Not today, I said, but soon. She nodded. She understood. That evening, I pulled out Claire's old cookbook, the same one that had unknowingly delivered her betrayal. Mama had filled it with handwritten notes, family recipes, little stories scribbled in the margins. On a whim, I decided to make Mama's lasagna, the very first dish Claire had ever cooked for me. As I layered the pasta and sauce, I remembered what Dr. Matthews had said about trust. It's not a single moment. It's a process, built in small pieces, honesty, vulnerability, presence. Would we ever build enough of those to balance the betrayal? I didn't know. But as I slid the lasagna into the oven, I realized I wanted to try. The next 3 months were slow, messy, and hard. We continued therapy, individually and together. Claire stayed in an apartment near her office while I remained in the house. But we began creating new habits. Saturday morning coffee. Texting throughout the day, not just about schedules, but real thoughts, little observations. We shared again. Once a week, we had dinner together. Sometimes we talked about the affair. Sometimes about work. Sometimes about nothing at all. Claire told me in one particularly raw session that David had been transferred to the New York office. She'd even considered following him before he told her. But she didn't. He represented an escape, she said, her voice quiet. But escapes are always temporary. Bit by bit, we began to rebuild. Not what we used to have. That was gone. This was something new. More mindful. More aware. One evening, after dinner at a new Thai place near the waterfront, Claire walked me to my car. "I have something for you," she said, reaching into her purse. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper. Her handwriting. "I miss the sound of your laughter. I dream of our future every day. I'll never forget how you looked at me when we first met. I am still that woman. I hope you can still be that man." Tears blurred my vision. "Are you asking if you can come home?" I asked. Claire shook her head. "I'm asking if we can find a new home. Together. When you're ready." I folded the note carefully and slipped it into my bag. "I'm not ready." "I know." She smiled. A sad, patient smile. "But if it's you, I'll wait." I watched her walk to her car. This woman I had loved for 12 years. This woman who had broken my heart and was trying to help heal it again. That night, I took out my camera, not for work, but for myself. For the first time in years, I photographed for the joy of it. I captured the city lights from my window, darkness and brightness in one frame. I sent a photo to Claire with a text, "Still finding beauty in the darkness. Maybe that's what we do." Her reply came just as I was drifting off to sleep. "The most beautiful photos need both light and shadow. We'll find our balance." 6 months after I found that note in the cookbook, I invited Claire to dinner. At our house, I made Mama's lasagna again, this time with Claire. We moved through the kitchen like dancers, awkward at times, but familiar. We ate at the dining table. Real napkins. Candles. Not in front of the TV like we used to. "This feels strange," Claire said mid-meal. "Well, strange in a good way. Everything feels strange now," I admitted. "I keep waiting for things to feel normal again. But maybe they never will." Claire set down her fork. "Maybe normal was the problem. Maybe we got too comfortable. Too predictable." "You could have said something," I replied. "I know," she said, gently cutting me off. "We've been over that. I made a terrible decision. But we can't change the past." I took a deep breath. "No, we can't. But we can decide the future." Claire looked at me, hope and fear flickering in her eyes. "What have you decided?" I reached across the table and took her hand. "I want to try again," I said. "Really try, not just go through the motions." Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. "Are you sure?" "No," I admitted. "I'm terrified. There are still moments when I'm so angry, I can barely breathe." I paused. "But I love you. I never stopped loving you, even when I wanted to." Claire squeezed my hand. "I love you too. And I promise, James, I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make this right." "Don't promise that," I said gently. "Just promise you'll talk to me. Really talk to me. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. I promise." After dinner, we stood at the kitchen window, the same one from that first heartbreaking note. But this time, when we kissed, it wasn't a memory of betrayal. It was the start of something new. The cookbook lay open on the counter. A new recipe we had planned to try. On a whim, I grabbed an empty recipe card and wrote, "Recipe for reconstruction. Truth, even when it hurts. Patience, especially when it's hard. Forgiveness, offered daily. Love that chooses to stay. Mix thoroughly with care. Prepare with hope. Serve with trust." Claire leaned over my shoulder and read it. Then she turned in my arms. "Will it work?" she asked. "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I think it's worth finding out." And in that moment, standing in our kitchen, with the woman who had once broken my heart, but was now helping me heal. I truly believed. Maybe it was possible to build something new from the ashes of what we had lost. Not perfect, not untouched, but maybe stronger. Because it had been broken, the recipe for betrayal had nearly destroyed us. Maybe, just maybe, the recipe for reconstruction could save us. Only time would tell.